Warning: be advised that I am not a licensed electrician. Doing your own electrical work could be dangerous and could lead to injury or even death. Furthermore, my knowledge is very basic, and so you should not imitate what I demonstrate, unless of course you are desperate or your wife is threatening you with a knife. But still. So today we're going to look at how to wire a light switch. The most important thing that you need to remember before working on any electrical circuit or device is that you need to turn the circuit off to make sure that there's no electricity flowing through the wires. So you can do this by going down to your breaker panel, and if all your circuits are labeled, you can turn off the circuit. It's a good idea to double check, so you can flick a light switch on, see if the light goes on, plug a device into a plug that's on that circuit, make sure it doesn't work so that the electricity is off. You can also buy a device to test whether or not there's electricity present. It's relatively cheap. You can pick it up at Home Depot, Canadian Tire, whatever. So that is definitely something that you need to remember. Turn off the circuit. Okay, so after that, you need to gather your tools. For this job, you are going to need a tape measure, hammer, drywall saw, Robertson screwdriver, pencil, pliers, metal electrical box, marrettes for connecting the neutral wire, electrical tape, and of course a light switch. So the first thing you want to do is you need to cut out the hole in the drywall where you're going to be putting your light switch, or more specifically the box. So I've measured up about, I think about 4 feet up from the ground in this case, and you need to find the stud first so that you know what you're going to be nailing your box to. In this case it was easy because on the other side it was a closet and the drywall had not yet been put up. So basically I just put the box up against the wall, stenciled it around it, and then I pounded a couple nails through the drywall, and that just gave me a little hole to insert my drywall saw into, made it a little bit easier. You're probably going to need to make the hole a little bit bigger than your stencil mark, but that's easy. Drywall is very, very forgiving. So you can see the hole from the other side. There's my stud, that's what I'm going to nail into. And there's the box. I just kind of fitted it in to see how it worked. You'll notice in the box there's a couple of interesting features. At the back, in the middle, you have 2 round screws. Those are what you would connect the ground wires to, because any wire that comes into the box needs to be grounded. If it was a plug, the plug would need to be grounded too. Now at the back, at the top and the bottom, you notice there's a couple of clamps with screws. Those can be loosened or tightened by adjusting the screw. In this case, we're going to be feeding a wire in through the top. There's little holes at the back and the bottom. You can't see them from here, but they're there. And then you're going to tighten the clamp up against the wire with the screws. Okay, so you're going to make sure that your box is flush with the drywall. So you don't want your box protruding past the outside edge of the drywall. And there's our box up against the stud. So now you're going to take a couple of nails. These are like 2.5, 3-inch spikes. Never mind the rust. And there are holes for the nails to go through, top and bottom. Nail it in, and this is what it looks like when you're done. Okay, so there was an existing stretch of wire, and I want to put my light switch there. So I've broken the wire, I've cut it, okay? And you're going to have one wire that's going to go up through the bottom of the box and another wire that's going to go down to the top. Now, I believe this is 14-3 wire. So 3 refers to the number of wires and 14 refers to the gauge. Now, technically there's 4 because there's also a ground wire. A lot of wire that you would use in your house for light switches and plugs would be 14-2. So you would actually only have a black and a white wire, but 14-3 also adds the red, which is also live. So in this case, the red wire, once you turn the circuit back on, in this case the red wire could be live, so you might want to make sure that you put a little marrette, which is the little connector on the end, to make sure that nothing bad can happen. So basically the white wire is the neutral wire, the bare copper wire, sorry for the resolution, is the ground wire, and then you have the black wire, and in this case this is going to be our live wire. Okay, so here's your light switch. And the way it works is it basically interrupts the black wire. So there's going to be 2 terminals, 2 brass terminals. Those are screws. Here we can see the brass one at the top. And there's one on the other side as well, and you connect the black wire coming in from the bottom to the one side, and the black wire coming in from the top on the other side, and that allows you to interrupt the circuit or close the circuit. So by flicking the light switch one way, you've broken the circuit, okay, and no electricity can flow to your light, and by flicking it the other way, then you've actually turned the circuit on, and electricity can flow to your light, and you can read at night. Okay, so this is the other side. The rule is black to brass. Okay, so I fed my wire in through the top, and you can see I've got my bare copper wire attached to the ground screw. I've stripped back the wire, so I've taken off the original plastic coating, and then I've further stripped back the black and white coatings. And I'm going to do the same thing for the bottom stretch. And there's my wires. And in order to connect them to the terminals, or the screws on the side of the light switch, you're just going to take your pliers and just make a little kink or bend in the black wires. Now the white wires, the neutral wires, they actually get connected together. So all you have to do there is you place them side by side, take pliers and wrap them around each other, and then you're going to put a moret, a little plastic cap with metal inside that allows you to kind of screw them together. And then, but the black ones have to be connected to the terminals, and you can see that I've done that here. You can see my yellow moret in there as well. And then the light switch is ready to be put into the wall and screwed into the box. So basically, remember, you're just connecting the white wires. They have no connection with the actual light switch. The only wires that are touching the switch are the live ones, the black ones, and each black one gets connected to its respective brass screw, which gets tightened in, and the white wires are just connected together. And when you're done, you can put a nice looking cover plate over that so it looks a little bit nicer, and that's all there is to it. But remember, don't try this at home because I am not a licensed electrician. Thank you.